Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that the money you've been saving for years has lost a significant portion of its value. Sounds like a nightmare, right? Well, the truth is, we are already living in an economic reality where this is happening silently and relentlessly. The money you know and trust isn't what it used to be. It's being diluted by inflation, uncontrolled money printing, and constant devaluation. Most people haven't yet realized that their purchasing power is eroding right before their eyes. Savings, once considered the safest option, are now a risk. Economic instability and the consequences of irresponsible monetary policy are creating a perfect storm that could wipe out the finances of anyone unprepared. But don't worry, you're not alone. There's a way to protect yourself and even thrive, even when everything seems to be falling apart. In this video, we'll explore how to protect your wealth and diversify your sources of income, turning real assets like gold, real estate, and cryptocurrencies into your allies for the future. What you'll learn here could be the key to escaping financial danger and ensuring stability when the economic winds get stronger. Ready to discover how? But before we dive in, if you're looking to take your finances to the next level, be sure to check out the Millionaire Partner System, where you can learn how to make an additional $1,000, $3,000 per day in passive income on complete autopilot in 2025. The details are in the pinned comment below. Don't miss out on this opportunity to build a more secure financial future. Have you noticed how your money doesn't stretch as far as it used to? It's like it disappears before your next paycheck hits. And no, you're not imagining things. We're living in a time where an unstable economy is quietly draining the value of our money. What used to fill a grocery cart now barely covers the basics. And this isn't just happening in one country, it's a global phenomenon that's affecting us all. The value of money is built on trust and the balance of monetary policy. But when governments start printing more money than the economy can handle, we end up with a dangerous devaluation of money. That means every dollar in your wallet is slowly losing its power. You might not feel it immediately, but it hits hard over time in gas prices, rent, food, and even Netflix subscriptions. And here's the frustrating part: prices go up, but salaries don't keep pace. So you work harder, maybe even earn more, but somehow feel poorer. It's like running on a treadmill, all motion, no progress. That's why understanding how inflation, reckless money printing, and the growing monetary crisis affect your daily life isn't just important, it's essential. If you're not paying attention, your savings could be at serious risk. Inflation is like a slow leak in your wallet. You don't always see it happening, but you definitely feel the effects. It quietly erodes your ability to buy the same things you used to, even if your income hasn't changed. That $100 you saved last year? It buys less today, not because you spent it, but because it lost value while sitting still. That's the cruel part. Doing the right thing by saving can still leave you behind. One of the most dangerous things about inflation is how invisible it is in day-to-day life. Prices creep up just a little at a time, so you adapt without realizing. A coffee goes from $3 to $3.50. Rent edges up every year, and suddenly your cost of living balloons while your paycheck stays the same. That's not just frustrating, it's financially suffocating. And yet, few people talk about this openly. Without a solid understanding of how inflation works, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking you're making progress financially when you're actually just standing still, or worse, slipping backward. That's why learning about financial protection, real assets, and smart diversification isn't just for investors anymore. It's for anyone who wants to stop watching their purchasing power shrink in silence. Let's talk about a modern-day illusion, the idea that governments can just print more money to solve problems. Sounds easy, right? But here's the catch. When too much money is created out of thin air, it doesn't create wealth. It creates chaos. This flood of new cash causes hyperinflation, currency devaluation, and a deep loss of confidence in traditional money. It's like pouring water into soup: more volume, less substance. Governments often justify this money printing as necessary for stimulus, recovery, or crisis relief. And sure, in the short term, it might feel like a quick fix: more benefits, more support, more spending power. But in the long run, it's like giving painkillers to someone with a broken leg. It masks the problem instead of treating it. Meanwhile, your savings melt, your bills grow, and everything starts costing more except your salary. This is exactly why financial education is so important today. Understanding how these policies work helps you protect yourself. Don't just stash your money in a savings account and hope for the best. Think about real assets, digital currencies, or inflation-resistant investments. Because when the printing presses don't stop, the value of your money certainly will. You've probably felt this one in your gut. Everything's more expensive, but your paycheck isn't keeping up. Welcome to the cruel dance of inflation versus wages. As prices for food, gas, rent, and just about everything else go up, salaries seem stuck, in slow motion. You're working harder, maybe even putting in extra hours, but somehow you're still struggling to stay afloat. This gap between rising costs and stagnant incomes is what really squeezes the middle and working classes. It creates a false sense of progress. You might get a raise, but then rent increases, groceries cost more, and suddenly that raise feels like a joke. It's like climbing an escalator that's moving downward. The system keeps you chasing, but never quite catching up. If we don't adapt, we end up stuck in a loop, earning, spending, surviving, but never thriving. This is why building passive income, investing in real assets like gold, real estate, or even cryptocurrencies, and rethinking your financial strategy is crucial. Because if you rely solely on a paycheck, you're fighting an uphill battle in a world where the rules are changing fast. We grew up hearing that saving money was the key to a secure future, but in 2025, that old advice might actually be putting you at risk. Sounds crazy, right? But think about it. With inflation eating away at your cash and interest rates barely keeping up, money sitting in a savings account is slowly losing value. It's not growing. It's shrinking. What used to be a safety net has now become a trap of false security. Let's say you've got $10,000 saved. That's great, but if prices rise 10 this year, your money can now only buy what $9,000 could last year. And banks? They're offering you crumbs in return. So while you're being safe, you're actually watching your purchasing power vanish right under your nose. That's why more people are shifting toward diversification, spreading money across real assets, stocks, cryptocurrencies, or even digital currencies tied to scarcity. The key isn't to stop saving, it's to stop saving blindly. In today's unstable economic landscape, financial protection means being smart about where and how your money is working for you. In times of uncertainty, people don't want promises, they want something real. That's why there's a growing movement toward real assets, things like gold, real estate, and commodities that you can touch, hold, or rent out. Unlike printed money, these assets don't lose value just because someone pressed a button at a central bank. They offer something priceless: scarcity and stability. Gold, for instance, has survived wars, collapses, and political chaos, and it's still considered a safe haven. Real estate gives you a roof and the potential for rental income, while land is literally the one thing they're not making more of. Even newer players like cryptocurrencies are seen by some as digital real estate, limited in supply and outside the control of traditional systems. This is the new battlefield, and the smart money is already moving. Jumping into real assets doesn't mean going Allen overnight. Start small. Buy a little gold. Research income-generating property. Learn how Bitcoin or Ethereum actually work. The idea isn't just to grow your wealth, it's to protect it from being washed away by inflation and reckless monetary policy. In today's economy, real beats theoretical every time. It's a strange thing when the money in your pocket starts to feel, unreliable. But that's what's happening. People around the world are losing faith in traditional currencies, not because they're paranoid, but because they're paying attention. With excessive money printing, mounting debt, and crisis after crisis, trust in fiat currencies is eroding fast. Take countries like Argentina or Venezuela. Their currencies have crumbled under the weight of hyperinflation and poor monetary policy. But it's not just them anymore. Even citizens in so-called stable economies are starting to ask, what backs my money? The answer is often vague, and that's unsettling. It's no wonder people are turning to digital assets, gold, or even bartering systems to preserve their value. This shift isn't just economic, it's psychological. When the foundation cracks, people look for firmer ground. If central banks keep playing fast and loose, expect to see even more movement toward alternative stores of value. So ask yourself, is your wealth sitting in something people are losing trust in, or something they're running toward? When money loses value every year, standing still is the same as falling behind. That's why protecting your wealth in today's world isn't optional, it's survival. The first step? Stop thinking like a saver and start thinking like an investor. Savings accounts don't fight inflation, they surrender to it. What you need is a shield, and that means diversifying your money into assets that hold or grow in value. Start by building a simple protection plan. Allocate part of your income to precious metals like gold or silver, time-tested hedges against currency collapse. Consider real estate, especially properties that generate rental income, and look into digital assets like Bitcoin, which have gained popularity as modern-day stores of value. These options help you hedge against economic instability and offer a buffer when traditional systems wobble. Don't forget, the long-game financial education is your ultimate weapon. Learn about monetary policy, study what happened during past crises, and understand the mechanics behind currency devaluation. The more you know, the less panic you'll feel. Because when chaos hits, and it often does, those who prepared calmly will stand while the rest scramble. In a world where everything seems uncertain, finding stability is a priority. But how do you create that when the very foundations of the financial system feel shaky? The answer lies in finding alternative investments that aren't tied directly to the fluctuating value of traditional currencies. These alternative assets offer a level of protection and even growth when the economy feels like it's spinning out of control. For example, consider cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, which are not directly influenced by inflation or central bank policies. These digital assets have captured attention for their scarcity and decentralized nature. Then there's real estate, which, although affected by market conditions, still represents something tangible and useful. You can earn income through rental properties or REITs, real estate investment trusts. And let's not forget about precious metals. Gold, silver, and other commodities are considered safe havens in times of economic turmoil. A well-rounded portfolio is essential. Diversifying your investments not only spreads risk, but also opens doors to opportunities in multiple markets. And don't just rely on what's popular. Do your homework, understand the risks, and invest with purpose. In times like these, stability isn't given, it's built. History is more than just a series of events, it's a treasure trove of lessons, especially when it comes to financial crises. The people who survived hyperinflation, devaluations, and market collapses didn't do so by sitting on the sidelines. They adapted, and their stories offer a blueprint for those of us facing today's challenges. So what can we learn from them? One major lesson is the importance of diversification. During the Great Depression, many people who relied solely on traditional savings or the stock market lost everything. But those who spread their wealth across precious metals, land, and other tangible assets were able to weather the storm. Similarly, in more recent crises, those who held digital assets or alternative investments came out ahead. The key is not to put all your eggs in one basket, especially in an economy as unstable as ours. Another vital takeaway is the power of financial education. People who understood how money works, how inflation impacts your wealth, and how to spot a crisis before it hits were able to make informed decisions that protected their assets. The more you learn, the more prepared you are. And it's never too late to start, whether it's reading about money management or learning how to navigate global economic trends. Knowledge is your best armor. As you've seen, the financial landscape is rapidly shifting. Inflation and currency devaluation are no longer distant concerns, they're happening right now, and the effects are being felt globally. But the good news is that knowledge and strategic action can make all the difference. By understanding the dynamics at play and diversifying your assets, you can protect and even grow your wealth no matter what happens next in the world's economy. It's time to stop relying on outdated methods like traditional savings accounts and start thinking long-term. Consider investing in real assets, cryptocurrencies, and even exploring alternative income streams that provide stability and growth. But it's not just about surviving, it's about thriving. So, what are you waiting for? Take action today and start building a more resilient financial future. And if you want to fast-track your journey to financial freedom, don't forget to check out the Millionaire Partner System in the pinned comment below. It could be the key to making $1,000 to $3,000 per day in passive income with minimal effort. If you found this information valuable, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for more insightful content on how to secure your financial future. Let's take control of our wealth together.